There are a ton of different manufacturers that will sell you a graphics card, if they had any. But today I want to look at one that you're not likely to find on Newegg or eBay. Yes, this is Dell's very own finest 3060 Ti. So for pretty obvious reasons, Dell won't sell you this by itself. You have to buy it in a pre-built, which, to be honest, at the given scalper prices, the pre-built isn't that bad of a price. So what if you wanted to buy that pre-built and just yank this thing out and stuff it in your rig? How much better or worse will it perform than an aftermarket card if you can get your hands on either of them? So today we're going to take a look at temperature, noise, and how they perform over a longer benchmark to find out if a 3060 Ti really needs all of this extra cooler. So this is the Gigabyte Gaming OC Pro 3060 Ti. Now, it has a very slightly higher clock speed boost of 1770 megahertz, so it should perform better. But I think we're going to find out they don't perform all that different given the fairly low power limit of the 3060 Ti. So Gigabyte went ahead and gave this thing an extra 6-pin power connector where Dell has stuck with the single 8-pin. I really don't know why Gigabyte went with an extra 6-pin power connector given it only has about a 10% higher power limit. Alright, so for this test we have the 10700, I think it boosts up to about 4.8, and then we got some DDR4 running at 4200 megahertz. So it looks like the Gigabyte card on its higher power limit can actually hit a higher clock speed than advertised. It's hitting 1815 megahertz right now, and it looks like it's topping out at about 67 degrees. I'm going to let it run for a few minutes here and see if it can't get up to 69. And at this temperature it's sitting at about 52 decibels. And at 100% power limit it's sitting at about 66 degrees. Oh, okay, so at its 100% power limit, it's hitting that advertised 1770, kind of nudging above it every now and then, but the 1770 is what it's advertised at, so that makes sense. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run TimeSpy on the higher power limit because I don't want to run this more than one time. It just takes more time, but it'll really show the difference between these two cards in a best case scenario. Alright, so the Gigabyte Gaming OC Pro scored a 11,241. It seems to hit a peak temperature of 67 degrees. And remember, this card is technically running faster, so it should be getting a little hotter. So if it does end up being a wash, but the card is a higher score, then this is the better card, obviously. Let's pop in the Dell card, see how it does, and then take it apart and look at its cooling solution. It's very interesting to me, going from the Gigabyte card to the Dell card, I actually have to reset the BIOS. Check Afterburner real quick. See, there is no higher power limit. You can only go to 100%. So that's all you get. So it looks like the Dell card can hit that 1770 number, but I just want to run this stock to see the difference between the cards in a kind of push button and go way. So right out of the pre-built, the Dell is running slightly hotter here. It is running quieter, mainly because it's further away from the decibel meter, but you have to give it to this card for being longer. See if I don't turn up the fan speed to get that decibel reading about the same if we don't hit the same temperature. And very interesting. So I think at about 70% fan speed, we're looking at about 52 decibels at the exact same spot as that one was read from. And it's actually 67 degrees, so pretty much the same. So you're kind of getting into that, does a 3060 Ti really need that much cooler? Let's go ahead and clock it the same, just to be sure here. Very interesting. I could play with this like all freaking day. Like, this is so much fun to like see the difference between these two cards in like a very fine amount. So at that 1770-ish, like it doesn't want to stay quite at 1770. I think the Gigabyte card was running at 50 decibels at about this speed, so it's about 2 decibels louder at the exact same speed. Alright, so very interesting results on the temperatures from the Dell. Now, if you run it straight out of the box, it's going to get to about 70 degrees, and it's going to be at about 46 decibels. Now, if you overclock it to that 1770 number that this Gigabyte card was running at, it'll get up to about 52 decibels, which is 2 decibels louder than the Gigabyte card is straight out of the box. Which really goes to show that straight out of the box, these cards really don't need this much cooling. All right, let's go ahead and run Time Spy on this card and see how it stacks up. All right, so the Dell card in its stock 100% power limit form managed to get a 10,844, along with a peak temperature of about 71 degrees C, all while running at just a bit over what? Wow, it actually managed to clock up to, wow, it actually upclocked pretty good there. So wow, it would actually boost up to 1948 megahertz, so pretty impressive, not gonna lie. I gotta give it to Dell for making a relatively strong card straight out of the box. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the cooler off real quick and show you guys how Dell put this thing together, and then we'll close this thing out. Okay, so on my Dell pre-built video, I had somebody ask to take this thing apart. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this thing apart real quick and see how small this PCB really is. Let's go ahead and separate the cooler. Hopefully. Man, they really got this thing on here. There it is. Very interesting. It looks like it has a 4 heat pipe cooler going here where 2 of the heat pipes pass through and then come back and loop around on the other side. Either that or this is a 6 heat pipe cooler and I'm completely wrong. But I think it's a simple 4 heat pipe cooler. I mean, overall, Dell really didn't do too bad of a job cooling this thing. Every single memory module is covered with a thermal pad pretty much perfectly. The VRMs have their own cooling, along with a cooling pad to meet the chokes. So, wow, this is just, I cannot get over how tiny this PCB is. Like, this thing is small. It's very interesting. Honestly, really good job by Dell. They have everything cooled properly, and you know, if you're looking at a graphics card and you see this one, this 3060 Ti, and you see that 3060 Ti, and that is more than 5% more expensive, then really the Dell is the better option here. I can't see why you wouldn't use this over that or that over this. Like, I don't think a 3060 Ti needs all of that cooler. Like, even at the same temperatures and at the same noise levels, they're pretty much the same. So don't go out of your way to find some giant cooler 3060 Ti. It's not a power hungry card to begin with. Get yourself a Dell pre-built and rip the card out of it. Like, it just makes more sense. That's really going to do it for today, guys. If you like this video, go ahead, give it a like, get subscribed if you are not already. If you have anything you want to see out of these cards, let me know and I'll get right on it. And like always, guys, thanks for watching.